By day 3, he already knows exactly what to say. I've never felt this before, not with anyone. She believes him, because why wouldn't she? Flowers arrive at her office the next morning. No card. Then a trip gets mentioned. Half planned, 6 months out. Her name is already penciled in, like a decision that's already been made without her. It doesn't occur to her to be suspicious. Why would it? This is exactly what she always pictured, minus the part where she gets a say in the pace.
There's a word for what she's feeling. Psychologist Dorothy Tennov coined it in 1979. Limerence. Involuntary, obsessive, almost feverish infatuation. Racing thoughts, intrusive fixation, a euphoria that borders on illness. Tennov's real point wasn't that this feeling is rare, it's that it's common and largely involuntary, which means almost no one has built a defense against someone triggering it on purpose. That gap between a feeling everyone recognizes and a tactic almost no one is braced for is exactly where this starts.
The tactic has a name, and it didn't start with dating. The term predates romance entirely. It comes from cult researchers describing how new members were flooded with affection fast enough to outrun their own judgment. A 2017 academic paper gave the romantic version a clinical definition: disproportionate affection used not to express feeling, but to secure control before trust has actually been earned. Say that plainly, and the flowers on day 3 stop looking romantic. They start looking procedural.
The part that makes it work? Nobody feels manipulated in the moment. That's not a gap in the design, it is the design. The texting that never stops, the compliments specific enough to feel like being seen for the first time. A pace that skips the slow, awkward, evidence-gathering stage every real relationship needs, replacing it with something that already feels certain. And underneath it, something measurable. Intermittent, unpredictable affection lights up the same reward circuitry linked to behavioral addiction. So no, she isn't naive. Her brain is doing exactly what brains do when the reward is real, even when the reason behind it isn't.
The turn nobody sees coming? Here's the part that catches almost everyone off guard, including people who think they'd never fall for this. The switch doesn't happen when the relationship goes bad. It happens when it goes normal. The first ordinary week, the first night she doesn't answer immediately, the first plan she makes without him in it, and something recalibrates. Not always anger, often something quieter and more effective. A wounded withdrawal that somehow makes her the one who ends up apologizing. Ask yourself which is stranger. A stranger declaring forever on day 3? Or that same person going cold the first time you act like someone with an actual life? One of those is love. The other one was never really about you at all.
Why smart people fall for it anyway? This doesn't mainly happen to the insecure or the inexperienced. It happens to the hopeful, which is most people most of the time. Wanting to be chosen fast, without having to slowly prove your worth first, isn't a character flaw. It's close to universal. Love bombing doesn't need to find your weakness. It only has to hand you the thing you already wanted, faster than you expected to get it. The people most resistant to it usually aren't smarter. They've just read this exact chapter before, and they know how it ends. What the real thing actually looks like. Here's what secure attachment actually looks like, and it's almost disappointing. Researchers Bowlby and Ainsworth described it decades ago. It survives a slow week. A canceled plan doesn't become a referendum. The other person gets to have a bad mood, an old friend, an unremarkable Tuesday, without any of it needing to mean something. It's slower to say the big things, not from hesitation, but because it isn't trying to convince you of anything yet. It's just quietly accumulating proof, showing up, following through, being the same person on the phone as in the room. Eventually, the proof adds up to something that doesn't need to be announced, because by then, it's just obvious. It won't sweep you off your feet. It just won't drop you either. The one question that actually tells you anything, not does this feel good? Almost anything built to manipulate you feels good at first. That's the entire mechanism. The real question is smaller and harder to sit with. If I asked for space this week, would this still be here in a month?
Something built on real footing doesn't flinch at that. It has time. There's nothing urgent it needs locked in before your judgment has a chance to catch up. Only the other kind gets nervous about patience. Somebody tonight is getting a message that feels like fate. 3 days in, already certain, already making plans for a future neither person has actually built yet. Sometimes that's exactly what it looks like from the outside, too. The rare, real thing, just moving faster than expected. And sometimes it's the other kind, wearing the same face, running on a clock only one of them can see. The flowers won't tell you which one you're standing in front of. Ask for a slow week. That will.